working.
Because I am the lightest sleeper in the world, I think. Any noise, a pin drop will wake me up. I didn't hear one click out of this thing, nothing. And so I was very happy about that, because you do not want to wake me up. So that was nice.
Of course, once you've tried the Ionic Breeze at home, you might want one for the office, too.
Like a lot of people, I work in an office with windows that don't open. And you get that stuffy, confined feeling. But since I brought in the Ionic Breeze, I feel like I have fresh air all day in my office, and I know I'm more productive because I feel so much better.
Now we can leave the Ionic Breeze on, and everyone can eat whatever they want. I don't have to ban garlic from people's lunches, and things work out.
I would never work in an office with windows that don't open without the Ionic Breeze again. It makes all the difference in the world.
Let's address the issue that's one of the biggest complaints about other products, and that is these filters.
Filters, okay.
Buying them, changing them. Here's an older unit. We're going to show you how this filter changes.
Okay.
You want to try opening that?
Sure.
It's hard, isn't it? Let me do it for you. Watch this. There's quite a bit to do here. So first you undo this.
Okay.
It takes a second. Okay. Now watch this. I'm going to pull this out for you. This is a couple of pieces that sort of come apart.
Uh-huh.
So you got one filter here.
Okay.
Got another filter inside.
All right. Oh, they're huge.
They're big and, in this case, expensive.
All right.
Now here's a newer version, same problem. I'm going to open this here. Watch this now. Take this out.
Right.
This filter here is about every 6 months you got to change.
You change this filter when you can get it out every 6 months.
And then you got two more pieces here. This outer one is like every 3 months, and the inner one's like every year, every 18 months.
6 months, 3 months, a year.
So it's a lot of work and a lot of material.
Wait a minute. This is... And they would all be dirty.
They'd be filthy.
Okay. This is way too messy and way too complicated. I've been known to run my vacuum cleaner for months with the bag full, and I don't think I've ever changed my water filter. I don't even want to know what's going on in there. So I bet a lot of people probably forget to change their air filters.
Well, they do. And you know, Carolyn, if they forget to change the filters, then these units don't even do what they're supposed to do. We eliminated all those parts completely.
The HEPA filters. Once you have this HEPA machine, then you're dealing with these filters constantly. You have to change them, you have to clean them, you have to take the whole machine apart to get to them, not to mention the cost of replacing these filters constantly. With the Ionic Breeze, you just lift out the grid, clean them off with a damp cloth, and that's it. I will never, never deal with those HEPA filters again.
Changing the filters is not a problem. I'm an engineer, I could do that. The problem was locating the filters. We went all over the place and it was just a big hassle.
We barely have time to get groceries, let alone running around to buy a filter. And the Ionic Breeze has been wonderful that way. Just every couple weeks I wipe it off and it's good to go.
Call me lazy, but if there were bags and filters and things that you had to do to use this, I'd never do it. With this, you pull it out, swipe, 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 it's clean, it goes back in, and that's it. The Ionic Breeze is a breeze.
Now look at this, there's a comparison.
Okay.
Here you just simply pull out the collection grid, take a damp sponge.
And that's all it takes. That is so simple.
There's nothing to take apart or put back together. You just snap the unit in when you're done, and that's all there is to it.
And there's nothing to buy.
It's so much easier.
It's so simple. The light comes on. That means all you have to do is pull it out and wipe it off, put it back in, and that's it. I mean, that's good for me. I got other things to worry about besides that, you know, so that makes it real simple.
All I have to do is lift the thing out, clean the things off, put it back in. Very easy.
So I pulled out the rods and there was some black stuff on it. I don't know what it was. Never saw anything like that floating around in my room, but they were on the rods. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm breathing that stuff in. If I didn't have this in here, I'm breathing that in. That's in my lungs. And it was just like, I couldn't believe it.
It just makes sense that if people are sensitive to things in the air like pollen or dust or dander, that an air filter or air purifier that decreases those particles in the air may make them more comfortable.
It took out all the dander, whatever the odors are, whatever it was that had been plugging my nose up, and it made a new person out of me.
With the Breeze, I feel healthier. I really do. I sleep better, and the air is cleaner.
These days, I wake up refreshed, clear, and full of energy. And I know it's because of my Ionic Breeze. Shouldn't you try it out and see how great your air can be? We think you'll be able to tell a difference in the first 60 minutes, but go ahead and use it in your own home for a full 60 days. Then, if you're not completely satisfied, just return it for a full refund. It's backed by the Sharper Image, so there's no risk. Shouldn't you take that first step towards providing your family with cleaner, fresher smelling air? Well, here's your chance. So go ahead and pick up the phone.
According to the Wall Street Journal, indoor air pollution can be up to 5 times worse than the air outdoors. Clean air can be the difference between living comfortably or being miserable. Sharper Image introduces the ultimate clean air solution, the patented Ionic Breeze Quadra. Exclusive Xeneon technology cleans and circulates air without a fan or filters and is totally silent. Here's how it works. First, the Ionic Breeze positively charges the incoming air. Then the air is pulled toward the negatively charged grid like a magnet. The positively charged contaminants attach to the collection grid, and then the cleaned air is accelerated into the room, creating a fresh, clean smell. Cleaning takes only minutes. Just pull out the collection grid, wipe it with a damp cloth or sponge, and slip it back in. It's that simple. Studies have proven the Ionic Breeze removes allergens such as pollen and animal dander. It even removes airborne bacteria and some harmful chemicals from carpeting, paint, and household cleaners. It powers through smoke and offensive odors and leaves your house smelling fresh and clean. Don't be misled by the prices of other filters. Over 5 years, hidden costs of filter replacements and electricity can add up to over $1,000. The Ionic Breeze Quadra requires no filters and uses almost no electricity. A guarantee is only as good as the company behind it. Sharper Image offers a 60-day return privilege. We think you'll be able to tell a difference in your air within the first hour. But try it in your home for 2 months. If you don't love it, send it back. Sharper Image will give you a full refund. And for cleaner, fresher smelling air in your bathroom, Sharper Image will send you a free bathroom Ionic Breeze. This compact plug-in doubles as a night light and delivers the same technology to help make even a dirty bathroom smell fresh and clean. The powerful $69 bathroom Ionic Breeze is yours free when you order today. And that's not all. Call now and be sure to ask about free shipping.
Call 1-800-430-8333. Help eliminate chemicals, allergens, and odors with the Ionic Breeze Quadra. That's 1-800-430-8333.
Okay, this looks like fun. This looks like a science project.
It does. Well, this is interesting. This is a watt meter. A watt meter measures electricity. I'm going to turn on this unit here, which quite frankly is one of the best on the market. And we'll see what kind of power consumption this one's using.
A watt meter measures how much electricity something uses.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just like a light bulb.
Okay.
We'll see what kind of watts this consumes.
Okay.
And you see it's showing about 121 watts of electricity.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to turn that off and turn on the Ionic Breeze Quadra.
All right.
And you notice this one uses quite a bit less electricity because we've designed it to be very energy efficient. So it's running here about 9 watts of electricity.
So this unit is using approximately
10 times. Isn't that amazing?
Over 10 times more than that unit.
It is, and let me show you what that looks like visually.
All right.
Let's turn the lights down just a little bit. I've got 2 light bulbs in here. So these sort of represent the power consumption of each unit. This here is a little 15-watt bulb.
That's a little night light.
That's actually more electricity than the Quadra uses. Okay. Now let me show you a 120-watt floodlight, which is about the same as this unit. And I should say, this is honestly one of the best HEPA filters on the market.
All right.
Okay, watch this.
Oh.
Now that's a lot of light. And you know, interestingly, there's units on the market that use twice the power that this one does.
And you wouldn't want to run this 24 hours a day, but some people run that 24 hours a day.
Well, if they did, they'd be using literally about $100 a year more in California to run than this.
So, 5 years,
$500.
roughly $500.
The difference.
Okay.
Okay. Throw in the filters, and over 5 years, you're talking another $650 to $700.
$1,100, $1,200.
That's right. Well over $1,000 of difference between this unit, and this is one of the best. Let's put it this way. You could run every one of these Ionic Breezes over here for less electricity consumption than what it takes to run this one HEPA filter right here.
That's enough for my whole neighborhood. And see, this isn't something that I really ever take into consideration when I buy a product. I just look at the purchase price, take it and go. I don't think about how much it's going to take to maintain something like that.
Isn't that the truth?
Really?
I can leave it on all day, all night, and just let it run continuously, and it hardly uses any energy at all, which is amazing to me when you consider what a great job that it does.
There are two big reasons why people love the Ionic Breeze. Number one, well, that's obvious. It's completely silent. Number two, it makes the air in your house smell great.
I have cats, and with the Ionic Breeze, I've noticed a difference in there's no cat box odor, which is great because there's nothing worse than cat box odor.
There definitely is a diaper smell in our baby's room. And as many gimmicks as we've bought that have tried to contain the diaper smell, it really doesn't. And what's been wonderful about the Ionic Breeze is that that's actually gotten rid of the diaper smell completely.
You know, I entertain a lot. I have a lot of large dinner parties, and the biggest problem has always been what to cook vis-a-vis the odor. Can I have fish? Can I afford to have shrimp, knowing how it's going to smell afterwards? Corned beef and cabbage? Now I finally can, because I've noticed with the Ionic Breeze, the kitchen smells fresh and clean, no cooking odors.
I love to cook, and I love to cook with garlic and onions and peppers and things that usually make my apartment stink for days. With the Ionic Breeze, it's not an issue.
Now, let's see how it works in one of LA's busiest restaurants, Tony P's in Marina Del Rey.
In here, we have a 50,000 CFM hood that gets rid of the smell. Out in the dining room, we got a little thing called the Breeze. We built this dining room with huge picture windows, but they don't open. That's our biggest problem. You can have a party with shrimp stir-fry with garlic and peppers and barbecued ribs, and turn around 2 hours later, have a party for tea sandwiches and Cobb salads. And the biggest thing you don't want to happen is when you're bringing the next party in with the tea sandwiches, that they're smelling the rib party before. So I'm happy to say that with the Breeze, you can bring them in, the air's fresh, clean, it smells like it does outside, and the customer's happy, and you don't get off on the wrong foot, because the first impression is everything.
The Ionic Breeze is so sleek and streamlined. It can be tucked away in any room in your house and look beautiful. And all the while, it's silently cleaning and freshening your air. Plus, it's so lightweight, I can pick it up and carry it anywhere in my home. I can barely even lift most other air filters. I just think the Ionic Breeze is brilliant.
My wife and I just did some remodeling, renovating of our house, and we were both very scared because we both have terrible allergies. And we were so worried that when we stained the floor in the kitchen and the family room, that it was just going to be a horrible 3 or 4 days for us, because we've been through this before, like I said. So it was wonderful, because that night we put the Breeze in there, closed up the doors, came back the next morning, and the smell was all but gone. And we were happy.
Richard, you must be so proud of the Ionic Breeze.
Well, I am. When this technology came along and we had the opportunity to develop it exclusively for the Sharper Image, I knew this was a tremendous advance.
When the windows are closed in my apartment, the air feels thick and stagnant. When I had the Ionic Breeze on, the air felt fresh. It felt like I had the windows open.
With the Breeze, I don't see the dust anymore. I really don't.
And it was like somebody came through with an invisible broom and swept everything away. I couldn't believe it.
So my parents don't know it yet, but I'm definitely taking the Breeze back with me to college.
This is your last chance to order the Ionic Breeze Quadra and find out for yourself what life is like when you breathe cleaner, fresher smelling air. And remember, there's absolutely no risk with a 60-day return privilege because it's backed by the Sharper Image. So don't miss out on this wonderful opportunity to do something good for yourself and your family. Pick up that phone and call now. You'll breathe a lot easier.
Exclusively from the Sharper Image, the patented Ionic Breeze Quadra cleans and circulates air without a fan or filters and is totally silent. Studies have proven the Ionic Breeze removes allergens such as pollen and animal dander. It even removes airborne bacteria and some harmful chemicals from carpeting, paint, and household cleaners. It powers through smoke and offensive odors and leaves your house smelling fresh and clean. Cleaning takes only minutes. Just pull out the collection grid, wipe it with a damp cloth or sponge, and slip it back in. It's that simple. Through this exclusive offer, Sharper Image will send you a free bathroom Ionic Breeze. This compact plug-in helps even dirty bathrooms smell fresh and clean 24 hours a day. The $69 bathroom Ionic Breeze is yours free when you order today. Call now and be sure to ask about free shipping.
Call 1-800-430-8333. That's 1-800-430-8333.
Call me lazy, but if there were bags and filters and things that you had to use this, I'd never do it. With this, you pull it out, swipe, 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 it's clean, it goes back in, and that's it.
I would never work in an office with windows that don't open without the Ionic Breeze again. It makes all the difference in the world.
Stuck it in the closet where the cat box is. Got rid of the kitty odor in like 7 minutes, if it even took that long. I absolutely couldn't believe it.
For something to be working, you assume that it should be making like this big, loud noise. This makes no noise. It's silent.
And within minutes, the air was fresher, it smelled cleaner, so we could tell it was working.
This is John Anthony, the love of our lives. There isn't anything that we wouldn't do for him. And we love the Ionic Breeze in his room. It's made a big difference.
The preceding was a paid advertisement for the Ionic Breeze Quadra from Sharper Image.
How far can you go with a degree from University of Phoenix Online? Our graduates are GMs, VPs, and CEOs at major corporations. Attending classes via the internet, when and where they want, they received a state-of-the-industry education. And they earned their degree in just 2 to 3 years so they could start putting it to good use now. University of Phoenix Online, the intelligent way to attend class.
For more information, call 800-711-5944.
Karen Bowen loves animals. That's why she volunteers for the Noah Animal Shelter in Snohomish County. As the shelter grows into a modern facility, it's the hard work of volunteers like Karen that will make this dream come true. Karen brings that same attitude to work with her at her job at AT&T Broadband. AT&T Broadband is proud of Karen and all of our employees in Washington. No one is more plugged into your community than AT&T Broadband.
Experience the flavorful embrace of traditional Cantonese cuisine. Visit Sea Garden Restaurant and enjoy wonderful Cantonese dishes prepared at their best. Sea Garden serves the finest dim sum on the east side, prepared fresh daily, including unique dishes you won't find anywhere else. Try something different for lunch. Come experience dim sum. Sea Garden is perfect for the family, business groups, small or large parties. Come enjoy fresh traditional Cantonese cuisine. Sea Garden, located in downtown Bellevue, 2 blocks southeast of the mall, and in Seattle's International District.
Following is a paid commercial presentation.
Hey, thanks for watching. This is the Debbie and Kevin Show, and I am Kevin Trudeau.
And I'm Debbie Flett.
We have a great show today. If you're watching right now and you're concerned about your health, if you're concerned about cancer, heart disease, acid reflux, is that what they call it? Acid reflux?
Yeah,
indigestion, gas, bloating, a whole bunch of health issues. We have one of the most fascinating guests we've ever had on the show. We interviewed this fellow in our show
in the UK, yes,
in England.
And it's had a huge response. I've been looking forward to doing the show, actually. My family were watching it, though, and they found it fascinating, but my brother and his girlfriend are both doctors, so they found it very controversial.
Yes.
So I've been looking forward to doing this.
Our guest is actually Bob Barefoot, and he was on my show in America here, A Closer Look, talking about calcium, the benefits of calcium, and virtually cancer cures, heart disease cures, health cures from nutrition. Now, Bob Barefoot is the author of several controversial books. One is called Death by Diet, where he talks about nutritional deficiencies being a major cause of disease, the calcium factor, the scientific secret of health and youth, and also the book Barefoot on Coral Calcium, an Elixir of Life, Health Secrets of Coral from Okinawa. And that was also featured on Oprah, Coral from Okinawa, correct?
That's correct.
First off, Bob, thanks for being back again. It's glad to have you here.
Oh, having a lot of fun.
Good to see you again.
Now, since we did our first infomercial here in America, where I interviewed you on the benefits of coral calcium and the connection between cancer and heart disease and nutrition, the response has been amazing. You've been slammed with emails and letters from people
That's correct.
all around the world now.
Oh, yes.
last month on the internet, 387,000 looked up the words Bob Barefoot. That's what's happening.
Right.
Wow.
And now you're seeing these type of results because there's a connection you believe to be between specifically cancer and the lack of calcium in someone's diet?
It's not just cancer, it's all degenerative diseases, lupus, diabetes, MS, cancer. The link is the calcium factor.
Now, when you say that, now I know your brother back in the UK, when you have a guy say the link between cancer is simply a lack of calcium in the diet. And again, you're a big proponent of coral calcium from Okinawa, Japan, and you do obviously have a product that you sell that you have a special blend which you think is the most absorbable. But when you say that, there's so many people that say it can't be that easy.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I know that for decades the AMA have been saying exactly that. My co-author, Dr. Carl Reese, said calcium cures cancer. He said that 30 years ago, and for which he lost his license. And yet, last year, the Journal of the AMA, the New England Journal of Medicine, and this was reported by the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, the Reader's Digest, the U.S. World News Report, they all had huge articles on how cancer is reversed by calcium supplements. And they went so far as to say that epithelial cancer cells would grow back to normal, which means cancer is no longer there.
Well, you're saying that cancer can't exist in an alkaline system, right?
Yes.
And we can test this by simply doing a pH paper
test of your saliva, that's correct.
Now, when I told my brother about that,
yes,
the doctor,
he said that your body naturally balances its own pH.
Well, your body has buffering systems in it. For example, your blood has to be caustic because, you see, acids drive oxygen out, and if you didn't have oxygen in your blood, you're dead. So it stays at 7.4 no matter what happens.
Right.
But the way it does it is it balances it by taking the calcium from the saliva. So now we know that you're calcium deficient because the body had to go to the saliva instead of the stomach to get the calcium. So when we check your saliva, which you produce 7 quarts a day,
right,
and it comes from the blood, so they intermix. When we check your saliva, if your saliva is acidic, that means you're calcium deficient and therefore prone to disease. To give you an example, if we go out to the playground, all the children will be inkwell blue, they'll be caustic. But if I take you down to the local cancer clinic, they'll be pH 4.5, which is 1,000 times as acidic as normal. As a matter of fact, they're so acidic that their amalgams are dissolving, and most of them suffer from mercury poisoning.
Okay, so can you tell me again where we discovered coral calcium?
Well, it sort of was discovered by the Japanese themselves about 800 years ago. It was obvious because the chickens, when they pecked the coral reefs, would have twice as many eggs, and cows licking it give 3 times as much milk, and it was delicious milk, delicious eggs. And they looked at it, and you see coral reefs weather, and fish munch on them, and they break off, and they form what they call a coral sand. So in Okinawa, there's no waves to carry the sand, miles out to the ocean. Like Hawaii, there's no coral sand because it's carried out. But in Okinawa, no waves. So they dug it up, put it on their crops, and they record 400% increase in rice crops as soon as they start putting it on. So they started eating it. And it took a while before they realized what was happening because, you see, all of a sudden, all diseases disappeared. People started living incredible ages. And the Spanish explorers came in 500 years ago, looked at this, and filled their ship holds with the coral sand, they called it. And they took it back to Spain where the chemists said, hey, it's mainly calcium, so they now called it coral calcium. Well, the doctors of the day, the very first drugstores in the world are in Barcelona, Spain, and they all carried coral calcium, Okinawa, Japan, with the stories how it cured their cancer, cured their diseases. So in other words, the very first drug dispensed from a drugstore was coral calcium.
Now, today you say people are deficient in calcium.
Yes.
The first question is, why are people deficient in calcium? Why aren't we getting enough calcium from food?
Yeah, well, that's a nice myth that doctors say that you can get what you want by eating it, but that's not true because we don't all eat the same things. See, the way we discovered this was we went around the world and said, are there places around the world where no one has cancer, no one has diabetes? And lo and behold, there are 19 different cultures spread all over the world, 10,000 miles apart. And we say, what's the common denominator? And the common denominator is that almost all of them are above the 8,000-foot altitude, except for the Okinawans, which are at sea level. So when we looked, we find that the only source of water above 8,000 is melting glaciers. And when the glacier melts, the ground-up rock comes with it. It's white, looks like mud. They call it milk of the mountains. Every quart has 20,000 milligrams of calcium. That's 20 times as much calcium as milk has in it. And they drink 4 or 5 quarts a day. So we found the common denominator all over the world between cultures who are disease-free and live long is the fact that they eat 100,000 milligrams of calcium a day.
Now, in America, is there something that you can have too much calcium, or that isn't the U.S. daily recommended allowance?
Oh no, of course not. It started off at 650 back in the 50s. Then they upped it, and they said anything more could be toxic. And mind you, these other people are eating 100,000 a day, and their only side effects are perpetual life and perpetual health.
No, wait a minute. You mean at one time, the government said
650.
Anything more would be toxic.
Right. Then they upped it to 1,000.
But they were wrong.
Yeah. Well, they've upped it to 1,000 back in the 70s. It's now 1,500.
So they were wrong when they said.
Well, they keep changing their mind.
And
they're going to do it again. I guarantee it'll be 3,000 10 years from now. You know why? Because you are a calcium critter. There's more calcium in your body than all the other minerals put together, because there's hundreds of biological functions that calcium controls.
Right, let's go back to this, because this is important. You're saying that of the healthiest people on the planet, your investigation, your research, the people who live the longest, live over 100 years old, the people that are the most disease-free, no cancer.
That's right.
No heart disease.
Well, they do have cancer, but the rate is so phenomenally low. Virtually
no cancer. Virtually no disease. Virtually no diabetes.
Yes.
No acid reflux, no indigestion.
And they stay young. They don't grow old like we do. Like the Hunzas in Pakistan.
Their skin looks good.
They don't have children until they're in their 70s, when they're mature enough to handle kids. Wow. But they have the body of a 30-year-old. They have the body of a 30-year-old, though.
And you're telling me that in these cultures around the world, the #1 common denominator is the amount of calcium they consume.
That's right.
And most of them consume it from the water, because it's all glacier.
And the Okinawans just happen to live on an island of calcium. And
Which is this coral calcium.
And they dig up this coral sand, which is coral calcium, and put it in their food, and they've been eating it for hundreds of years. So they're getting huge amounts of calcium.
And now, why is it then that if a person consumes more calcium, that they are disease-free? What's the calcium doing?
There's hundreds of things calcium does in the human body. Provides the electrical energy for your heart to beat, controls all nerve transmissions. But in the 70s, they made the huge discovery that DNA, which is your blueprint to repair your body and to stay young, your DNA only replicates when it's on a substrate of calcium, which means it has to be smothered in calcium to replicate. So you see, all these people have their DNA constantly replicating. You and I, who only got 500 milligrams of calcium, ours is put to sleep, and we grow old very fast. I mean, we're supposed to live to be 120 according to the Bible. You know, Genesis 6:3 says, man shall not be immortal, but man shall live to be 120. And the biblical patriarchs lived to be 800, 900 years old. And these people, the Titicaca Indians, 140, 130, 120. I mean, my gosh, what's going on here? And they got young bodies.
And so you think calcium is also, in addition to keeping somebody disease-free, and anti-aging?
Yes, because the DNA is turned on. If your DNA is turned on, you can stay young. Your DNA can produce a whole new body.
So if we start taking this, what kind of results are we going to physically see?
Well, you're going to be just like all the other Americans and Brits and French and Swedes and Russians and Chinese and Japanese. What they usually see is within 2 weeks, it's noticeable. Something will happen. 50% of people who are sick within 2 weeks see remarkable changes in
You're
their
telling
health.
me virtually everyone out there is calcium deficient.
Basically, yes. By the time the average American's 60, about 98% are very calcium deficient. That's why we have disease.
And so if a person takes the calcium within a couple weeks, are they going to feel different?
Yeah, what kind of results?
Well, I've had people like with acid reflux. 2 weeks later, it's gone. We've had people in a few weeks get out of wheelchairs. MS patients get out of wheelchairs for people. They're remarkable results. And yes, we have people who are documented terminal cancer patients that now say the oncologist says the cancer's gone away. I mean, it's remarkable what's happening.
It's big question, and every medical doctor is glued right now to the television watching, waiting for your answer. Is calcium, taking calcium, a cure for cancer?
According to the Journal of the AMA, yes. They said it reverses cancer and makes it go back to normal, but I also say...
Hold on, back up. This is not you.
No, I'm telling you...
You're quoting somebody.
I'm quoting the Journal of the AMA and their...
American Medical Association.
Yes.
They said this?
The Journal of the AMA and the New England Journal of Medicine were quoting the Strang Cancer Research, University of New York, who found the calcium supplements reverse cancer, and there's not a doctor that read his own journal to find that out. But it does say it.
So why aren't the government
And as
telling
a
us
matter
about
of fact,
this?
the New York Times, because of this, did a 5-page spread on calcium, the super nutrient it was called. What's happening, they said. And the Los Angeles Times did the same spread, and the Reader's Digest did a huge article on it where they claimed that calcium reverses cancer. So, and the U.S. World News Report, May 3rd edition, huge article, that magic mineral calcium, and they were all talking about calcium reversing cancer. So I'm only reporting what's been reported.
So this is not you saying it, you're just making...
I'm reporting what the scientists and the national
You're
magazines.
quoting?
Yes.
Okay. I went to the health food store.
Yes.
I said, what's a good calcium? And they brought me over to shelves, right? You know the store,
I
right?
remember this, yeah.
And all these calcium. There's calcium from eggshells. There's calcium from oyster shells. There's calcium carbonate.
Yes.
There's CalMag. There's powdered calcium that fizzes. And then on the bottom, I found a couple bottles of coral calcium from Okinawa, Japan.